almost easier to get this centered that way than to keep fussing with the tube a whole lot. So remember, the light's gonna go just a little bit beyond the carpal phalangeal or metacarpal phalangeal joint, MCP, and then about the lower 1/3 of the radius and ulna. So we just want to open radius and ulna, open metacarpals here. We put the marker on the lateral side, and this is a good place to put it, right next to the thumb, okay? So basically we're just doing this. So I'm not too worried about the axilla yet, but we want to make sure the elbow and forearm are straight so the arm is flat, okay? So by cupping those fingers, we're putting the metacarpals parallel to the IR, equal distance here. Okay, so our next position is going to be what? Yeah, the lateral oblique. That seems to be the most natural one. So I'm going to have you just straighten your hand out and roll up just a little bit. So I'm just going to roll her hand at 45 degrees. So remember, that closes the metacarpals here, opens 1 and 2. But what else do we demonstrate in this position?
Pisiform?
What's that?
The pisiform?
No, not the pisiform. The scaphoid. Look at the middle image there. So this will demonstrate the scaphoid and the trapezium. So look, it's actually not demonstrating the pisiform because it's rolling off top of it. So it's right here, and I'm just going to make sure. So there's not a lot more to do here. Our collimation stays about the same. Our exposure, our technique is going to be about the same. Okay. And then from this position, the next natural one would be to go right into the lateral because she's already in this position. So this time I'm going to just have you turn your hand all the way up. That's good. So I'm going to make sure that the radius and ulna are superimposed completely. Sometimes you almost have to slightly over-rotate it because you can see that in the natural position, the ulna is slightly posterior to the radius. So to get them superimposed, you almost slightly over-rotate it. So I'm going to keep the marker anterior. You can either put it down here or here. And I could close this just a little bit, just to prevent some scatter. Okay. Now this time we could go up a little in our technique because the part is thicker than it was in the PA. Right? Maybe a couple, I think we're using like 60 at 2 for the PA, so I'd say 60 at 4 for this lateral. Okay? So you can see the lateral there with the radius and ulna superimposed. What carpal bone is best seen in this image? The what? The lunate, yeah. I thought I heard you say oblique.
No, the lunate.
Yeah, I'm like, you say what? Okay. All right, so we have one more position. Well, actually 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other oblique now. So go ahead and turn your hand down. Open this back up a little bit. Now this time I'm going to have you turn your hand the other way towards the thumb. Are you comfortable like that? So some people will have a harder time doing that with the arm flexed, and you may have to do it with the hand straight, but most people can kind of do it this way. Depends on how tight this muscle belly is right here and how much arthritis they have. So we're still going to keep the marker on the lateral side. Now we're demonstrating what? The pisiform. Right. See how it's in profile there? And so this would be the PA oblique medial rotation. Now the other position from that, all right, relax for a minute. I'm going to get this set up. So the reason, I never honestly thought about doing that position all these years. Like, we always had to do the medial oblique, but we always did an AP. I don't think I ever thought about doing it this way. So I am going to move this just a little bit. Let's get this set up a little differently here. Okay, can you straighten your hand out? So remember, the AP oblique is like shaking hands. You just outstretch the hand and then rotate. So I'm going to bring her up centered here and then rotate her. So now we're just putting the pisiform down, the pinky down. Technically, I think probably most people are going to put the marker on this side, but technically it should stay on the lateral side. I don't know really how strict they are about these things, but down over her wrist. So you can visualize here how the pisiform's in profile right there. See that? Okay. So that would be an alternate view. Obviously, you wouldn't do both the PA and AP oblique. You have to do one medial rotation. Okay, so you can relax a minute. So what's the last picture I need to do to complete my series?
The ulnar deviation, scaphoid.
Yeah, the scaphoid. So since I did this would be a good way to show you how to do the angle. Because remember, with the angle, we always have the arm outstretched. Because I can't have her hand like this and angle the tube this way. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, technically you could kind of do that if you really block, but you're not supposed to do that because then you mess up the detan over there. So just don't, just have the arm outstretched, okay? Because if I try to angle the tube this way, it's like doing an oblique. It's not doing the scaphoid. Okay, go ahead and straighten your hand out for me. So our hand's kind of already in this position. So remember, we're feeling for this little divot right here, right below the base of the thumb. All right, since I'm rotating the tube, how much?
20 degrees.
20 degrees. How much do I need to bring the tube down? 4 inches. Yeah. Because for every 5 degrees, it's 1 inch. Okay? I'm going to bring it down to 36 inches, and I'm going to put this is a little bit tight, this angle. So every dark blue line is 10 degrees. You've angled this tube quite a bit for other things, right? And then I'm going to bring this, watch, I'm this. So I'm kind of, so see, I'm right at 40 inches to the cassette. All right, so now I'm going to check my centering. So, now I'm going to bring this over because I don't want you to stretch out too far. Okay, can you lean in just a little bit more this way? Okay. So I'm centering just to the scaphoid, and this time I am going to put my marker here because I'm going to collimate fairly small. I want to keep my collimation to the center of the cassette. We've already gotten a lot of the carpal bones here, so I'm just really concentrating on getting the scaphoid. So here's the scaphoid, so what I'm doing, go ahead and lift your hand up. I'm centering here because it's projecting it towards the middle. So you center like slightly above it, so it projects it right to the center. Okay, because if I centered right on top of it, then it would project it down here. Okay, so what's the last thing I need to do before I make my exposure?
Deviate.
Deviate. So I'm going to keep her wrist or her arm still and just do this. Okay? So don't forget the deviation part, otherwise you'll lose, you'll not really get the position correctly. Okay, and as far as technique, I would use the same as the technique. All right, so the alternate view to that would be, go ahead and relax a second. I have to get this all changed back. So we can either put the sponge under the cassette, we can put the sponge over the cassette. This is probably better because it's likely, for a couple of reasons, you might have artifacts from the sponge. If you have these kind of sponges at the hospital, these will for sure show artifacts. You see this hard plastic ridge? These are terrible for positioning. It's good if you use it as a position in an area you're not going to radiograph, but you'll find, especially if you use these for the phantoms, you're going to see a line across your image right where this corner is, this crack. So be careful. Okay, what if I don't have any sponges? I could find something else to use, right? As long as my cassette goes up 20 degrees, it'll work. So sometimes you have to get kind of creative. You've been at the hospital once already, so you'll start to notice, like, where are the sponges? Where's the tape? Where's the, right? And these little sponges, they get wrapped up in sheets and off to the laundry, and then they end up in the trash usually, so they don't last very long in the hospitals. I think one time we had so many sponges, we donated some of ours at the hospital. It's kind of funny. Okay, go ahead and put your hand back here for me. Okay, let me be back just a little bit. Okay, so this time I'm gonna, again, center right on the scaphoid and then just deviate her hand. Get my marker in here. Obviously, the reason I'm putting my marker on that side is because I'm collimating tightly, so I want it within the beam. Okay? And so this best shows what? What's best seen here? The scaphoid. That's one of the easiest questions to answer forever, right? Yeah, okay. So now we're done with the rest. Go ahead and relax. All right, so next I'm going to do the form. So the